She skipped the date and sent her best friend instead, not knowing he was a Korean billionaire CEO. Rain tapped softly against the apartment window, creating a quiet rhythm that filled the room. Alia sat cross-legged on the couch, wrapped in an oversized hoodie, staring at her phone like it had personally betrayed her. The message on the screen hadn't changed. Blind date tonight. 7 p.m. Don't cancel again. It was from her cousin, Nadia, the self-appointed matchmaker of the family. Alia groaned and dropped her head back against the couch. Why does she keep doing this to me? Across the living room, her best friend Jahzara was lounging comfortably in an armchair, scrolling through her phone with one leg hanging over the side. Unlike Alia, Jahzara looked like she had just stepped out of a fashion shoot. Her curly hair framed her face perfectly, and even in casual clothes she radiated effortless confidence. She glanced over. Doing what? Alia held up her phone like evidence in court. This. Jahzara read the message and burst into laughter. Oh no, not another blind date. Yes, Alia groaned dramatically. And this time she said the guy is special. Jahzara raised an eyebrow. That usually means rich, handsome, or dangerously boring. Exactly, Alia said. And I'm not emotionally prepared for any of those. She sat up and began pacing across the small apartment. Do you know how these things go? First it's awkward introductions, then he asks what I do, then we sit there pretending we're both enjoying the conversation while silently planning our escape routes. Jahzara chuckled. You're being dramatic. I'm being realistic. Alia flopped back onto the couch. Besides, I just worked 12 hours today. I look like I fought a hurricane and lost. Jahzara smirked. You always look good. Relax. But Alia shook her head stubbornly. Nope, not doing it. She grabbed a pillow and hugged it like a shield. Tonight I'm staying home, ordering food, and watching terrible reality shows. Jahzara laughed. So what are you going to tell your cousin? Alia sighed deeply. She'll guilt-trip me for 3 weeks. Then suddenly, a slow, mischievous smile appeared on her face. Jahzara noticed instantly. Oh no. What? That smile means you're about to suggest something stupid. Alia sat up and looked at her with hopeful eyes. Zara? No. You didn't even hear the idea. I already know the idea. Alia clasped her hands together dramatically. Please. Jahzara stared at her in disbelief. You want me to go to your blind date? Just for a little while. Jahzara laughed so hard she nearly dropped her phone. You're insane. Alia scooted closer on the couch. Think about it. You go, sit down, talk for 20 minutes, tell him something came up, then leave. And pretend to be you. Exactly. That's a terrible idea. But a funny one. Jahzara shook her head, still laughing. You're unbelievable. Alia leaned forward desperately. Please, Zara. I owe you. I will cook for you for a whole week. Jahzara raised an eyebrow. You can't cook. I'll order food. That's more believable. They both laughed. Then Jahzara leaned back in her chair, thinking. Okay, what does this guy look like? Alia shrugged. I don't know. Nadia just said he's successful. Jahzara smirked. That could mean anything from tech nerd to billionaire. Alia rolled her eyes. If he's a billionaire, you should definitely go. Jahzara burst into laughter again. After a long moment of thinking, she stood up and grabbed her coat. Fine. Alia gasped. Wait, really? Jahzara shrugged casually. Why not? Worst case scenario, I get free dinner and a funny story. Alia jumped up excitedly. You're the best friend in the entire universe. Jahzara pointed a finger at her. 20 minutes. That's it. Deal. Alia quickly grabbed her phone and pulled up the reservation details. Okay, here it is. Restaurant is called La Lumiere. Jahzara paused. Wait, the fancy one downtown. Yeah. Girl, that place is expensive. Alia grinned. Exactly. Jahzara slipped on her coat and headed toward the door. Well, if I'm going to impersonate someone tonight, I might as well do it somewhere fancy. Alia waved dramatically. Good luck. Jahzara opened the door and paused. You owe me big time. Then she left. The door closed behind her with a soft click. Alia stretched across the couch happily. Crisis avoided. She turned on the TV, completely unaware that the small decision she had just made was about to change 3 lives forever. Because the man waiting at table 7 wasn't just another blind date. He was Kim Min-Jae, one of the youngest billionaire CEOs in South Korea. And in less than 20 minutes, he was about to meet the wrong woman. The woman he was never supposed to meet. Yet somehow, the one he would never forget. The restaurant lights glowed warmly against the rainy evening outside. Jahzara stepped out of the taxi and stared up at the tall glass entrance of the Lumiere. For a moment, she wondered if she should turn around. This place looks way too fancy for a fake date, she muttered to herself. Inside, the restaurant was elegant and quiet. Soft jazz music floated through the air, and the scent of expensive food filled the room. Crystal chandeliers shimmered above neatly dressed tables. Everyone inside looked like they belonged there. Everyone except her. She adjusted her coat and walked toward the host's stand. Reservation name, the host asked politely. Jahzara glanced at the text Alia had sent. Alia Thompson. The host immediately nodded. Yes, your guest is already waiting. Table 7. Already waiting. Great. Her heart began to beat a little faster as she followed the host through the restaurant. Each step suddenly felt heavier. She wasn't nervous about meeting a stranger. Jahzara never got nervous. But something about pretending to be someone else made the whole situation feel strange. They reached the table. Your guest, the host said softly. Jahzara looked up. And froze. The man sitting at the table slowly stood to his feet. He was tall. Easily over 6 feet. His black suit fit perfectly, sharp and tailored like it had been made specifically for him. His hair was dark and neatly styled, and his face had the kind of calm, striking features that looked almost unreal. But it was his eyes that caught her attention. Deep, focused, quietly powerful. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then he extended his hand politely. Are you Alia? Jahzara hesitated for half a second. Just half. Then she smiled confidently. Yes. His handshake was firm but gentle. Kim Min-Jae. His voice was smooth, controlled, and slightly accented. The name meant nothing to Jahzara. But something about him immediately felt different. Not flashy. Not arrogant. Just composed. The kind of composure that comes from someone used to being in control. They sat down. A waiter arrived almost instantly with menus. But neither of them looked at them right away. Min-Jae studied her with quiet curiosity. You look surprised, he said. Jahzara laughed lightly. Maybe a little. Bad surprise. She shook her head. No, actually a good one. A faint smile touched his lips. That's a relief. They finally began looking at the menu. But within minutes, the conversation started flowing naturally. Much more naturally than Jahzara expected. So, Min-Jae asked calmly, what do you do for work? Jahzara thought quickly. She couldn't say Alia's real job because she barely remembered the details. So she gave a safe answer. I work in marketing. Do you enjoy it? Most days. And the other days? She smirked. I daydream about quitting and moving to an island somewhere. That made him chuckle quietly. You seem like someone who enjoys adventure. Maybe. And maybe someone who enjoys trouble. Jahzara leaned back playfully. Only the fun kind. The waiter returned with drinks. Time passed quickly. Faster than either of them expected. What was supposed to be a short, awkward meeting slowly turned into something else entirely. They talked about travel. Childhood stories. Favorite movies. Food. Life. Min-Jae shared that he had spent years traveling between countries for work. Jahzara teased him about sounding like a mysterious businessman. You're very vague about your job, she said. He raised an eyebrow slightly. Am I? You said you run a company. That could mean anything. He took a sip of his drink before answering. It's in technology. That still sounds vague.
To us.
His eyes sparkled with quiet amusement. Maybe I enjoy a little mystery. Jahzara laughed. Well, mystery man, I'll figure it out eventually. He looked at her thoughtfully. You're very confident. Should I not be? No, he said softly. It suits you. For a brief moment, their eyes held. And something shifted in the atmosphere between them. A subtle tension. The kind that appears when two people unexpectedly feel a connection. Jahzara quickly looked down at her glass, suddenly aware of her heartbeat. This was supposed to be a quick favor. 20 minutes. But when she glanced at the clock on the wall, almost 2 hours had passed. She blinked in surprise. How did that happen? Min-Jae followed her gaze. Time moves faster with good company. Jahzara smiled. I guess that's true. When dinner ended, they walked outside together. The rain had stopped. The street lights reflected on the wet pavement. A sleek black luxury car pulled up to the curb. The driver stepped out and opened the back door respectfully. Jahzara looked at the car, then at him. Your car. He nodded casually. Company car. She didn't question it. But as he stepped a few feet away to answer a phone call, 2 men in dark suits approached him quickly. They spoke in low voices. But Jahzara overheard one word clearly. CEO. Her curiosity instantly exploded. When Min-Jae returned, she tilted her head slightly. So, mystery man. Yes. What exactly do you do? He studied her for a moment, then gave the same calm answer. I run a company. Jahzara narrowed her eyes playfully. You're hiding something. His smile returned. Maybe. She laughed. Well, now I'm definitely curious. He looked at her with quiet interest. I hope we can continue this conversation another time. Jahzara paused. She hadn't planned on another meeting. But something about him made it hard to say no. Maybe, she said with a teasing smile. As she got into her taxi, she waved goodbye. But the moment she got home, curiosity won. She grabbed her phone and typed his name into the search bar. Kim Min-Jae. The results appeared instantly. And when his photo appeared on the screen, Jahzara's eyes widened. Her jaw slowly dropped. Wait. She scrolled through the articles. Business magazines. International interviews. Headlines about billion-dollar technology companies. Her heart started racing. Oh my God. She had just spent an entire evening pretending to be someone else. On a date. With a billionaire CEO. And the worst part, he thought she was someone else. Jahzara sat frozen on her couch, staring at her phone screen like it had just revealed the biggest secret in the world. The name at the top of the article glowed under the light of her lamp. Kim Min-Jae. Below it was a photo. The same calm expression. The same sharp jawline. The same quiet confidence she had seen across the dinner table only hours earlier. Except this photo had a headline beneath it. The young billionaire CEO transforming global technology. Her mouth slowly opened. No way. She clicked the article. It loaded instantly. Her eyes scanned the words. CEO of one of Asia's fastest-growing tech corporations. Multi-billion-dollar valuation. Featured in global business magazines. Youngest executive to lead the company's international expansion. Jahzara sat up straight. Oh my God. She kept scrolling. There were photos of him at business conferences. Photos of him speaking on stage. Photos of him standing beside politicians and global tech leaders. Every article said the same thing. Brilliant. Powerful. Influential. Her mind replayed the dinner conversation from earlier that night. You're very vague about your job. I run a company. Jahzara covered her face with both hands. You run a company? She groaned dramatically. That man runs half the tech world. Her phone buzzed suddenly in her hand. She nearly dropped it. Her heart jumped as she looked at the screen. A text message. From him. Her stomach flipped instantly. She opened it slowly. Min-Jae. I had a wonderful time tonight. Thank you for joining me. Jahzara stared at the message. Her heart began beating faster. She hadn't expected him to text so quickly. Another message appeared. Min-Jae. I hope you made it home safely. She bit her lip nervously. This was bad. Very bad. Because he thought she was someone else. She had walked into that restaurant pretending to be Aliyah. And now the CEO of a billion-dollar company thought he had just met her. Jahzara leaned back against the couch, staring at the ceiling. What do I do now? Her conscience started whispering. Tell him the truth. But another voice answered immediately. And say what? Hi, I'm actually the wrong person who showed up pretending to be someone else. She groaned again. That sounds insane. Her phone buzzed again. Another message. Min-Jae. May I see you again sometime? Jahzara's heart skipped a beat. She read the message 3 times. Why did that sentence make her feel nervous? She barely knew him. Yet somehow the evening had felt easy. Comfortable. Natural. And that scared her more than the lie. Because she had actually enjoyed spending time with him. A lot. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was Alia calling. Jahzara answered immediately. You will not believe what just happened. Alia's voice came through the speaker. How was the date? Jahzara jumped up from the couch. How was the date? You sent me to dinner with a billionaire. There was a long pause. What? Jahzara paced across the room. That man is a CEO. A billionaire CEO. Wait. What are you talking about? Jahzara grabbed her laptop and read the headline out loud. Min-Jae, billionaire technology executive. Another silence. Then suddenly, are you serious? Yes. Alia gasped loudly on the phone. Girl. I accidentally set you up with a billionaire. Jahzara ran a hand through her hair. That's not the problem. What is the problem? He thinks I'm you. Alia burst out laughing. The loud kind. The uncontrollable kind. This is not funny. Yes, it is. Jahzara groaned. He just texted me asking for another date. Alia stopped laughing immediately. Oh. They both fell silent. Well? Alia asked slowly. Well, what? Are you going? Jahzara stared at the phone in her hand again. The message was still there. May I see you again sometime? Her heart beat a little faster. Why did that question feel so important? She barely knew him. Yet something about him had felt genuine. Different. Not like the arrogant rich men she had met before. He had listened. He had laughed. He had looked at her like he was actually interested in what she was saying. Jahzara sighed. This is a terrible idea. Alia smirked through the phone. That means you're thinking about it. Jahzara sat down slowly. I shouldn't. But you want to. She looked at the message again. Then slowly typed a reply. Her fingers hesitated over the screen. One simple message. One decision. That could turn this harmless lie into something much bigger. She pressed send. Jahzara. I'd like that. The message delivered instantly. Her heart began racing. Alia screamed through the phone. You did not just agree to another date. Jahzara leaned back on the couch again. Yes, I did. Because somehow, the lie that was supposed to last 20 minutes had just become something much more dangerous. Something deeper. And she had a feeling this story was only beginning. The next morning sunlight streamed through the curtains of Alia's apartment. But the peaceful atmosphere didn't last long. The front door burst open. Alia. Jahzara stormed into the living room holding her phone like it was a piece of dangerous evidence. Alia nearly spilled her coffee. Good morning to you too. Jahzara dropped onto the couch dramatically. You set me up with a billionaire. Alia blinked again. I still can't believe that. She leaned forward excitedly. So, how was he? Jahzara opened her mouth to complain. But no words came out. Because the truth was complicated. Very complicated. She slowly leaned back. He was nice. Alia's eyes widened. Nice. Yes. That's your description for a billionaire CEO. Jahzara groaned. You're missing the point. What's the point then? Jahzara waved her phone in the air. He texted me again. Alia nearly jumped off the couch. He did. And he wants to see me again. Alia stared at her for a moment. Then slowly a mischievous smile spread across her face. Well, are you going? Jahzara hesitated. Her mind replayed the night before. The quiet confidence in his voice. The way he listened when she spoke. The easy laughter. The unexpected chemistry. Her stomach flipped slightly. Maybe. Alia screamed. I knew it. Jahzara covered her face. This is a bad idea. Why? Because he thinks I'm you. Alia shrugged casually. So tell him later. Later? Yeah, like after the third date. Jahzara stared at her. That's even worse. Alia leaned forward with a teasing grin. Zara, be honest. Jahzara sighed. What? Did you like him? Jahzara hesitated. Her cheeks warmed slightly. Maybe a little. Alia clapped her hands excitedly. Oh, this is going to be fun. Jahzara pointed at her. This is your fault. I accept responsibility. Then suddenly Jahzara's phone buzzed again. Both girls froze. Slowly, Jahzara looked at the screen. A new message. From Min-Jae. Her heart immediately started beating faster. She opened it. Min-Jae. There's an art gallery opening tonight downtown. Would you like to join me? Aliyah leaned over her shoulder. An art gallery date. She whistled. Girl, this man has taste. Jahzara bit her lip nervously. I can't keep pretending forever. Aliyah crossed her arms. Then don't pretend forever.
This is perfect.
Jahzara looked up. Just go on the date. Jahzara stared at the message again.
This is perfect.
An art gallery.
With you
that
it is.
sounded romantic, sophisticated, and honestly, intriguing. But the lie sat heavy in her chest. Still, her fingers began typing. Jahzara. That sounds lovely. The reply came almost instantly. Min-Jae. I'll pick you up at 7. Aliyah squealed again. Oh, this is getting good. Later that evening, the art gallery glowed with soft golden lighting. Paintings lined the walls, each more breathtaking than the last. Jahzara walked slowly through the entrance. She had chosen a simple black dress, elegant but not overly formal. Yet the moment she stepped inside, she noticed him immediately. Min-Jae stood near a large abstract painting, speaking quietly with the gallery curator. Even among the crowd, his presence was unmistakable. When he saw her, he excused himself politely and walked toward her. His expression softened. I'm glad you came. Jahzara smiled. Me too. For a moment they simply stood there, looking at each other. Then he gestured toward the paintings. Shall we? They walked side by side through the gallery. Each painting sparked conversation. Some made them laugh. Some made them think. At one point, Jahzara stopped in front of a colorful abstract piece. I don't understand this one. Min-Jae studied it carefully. It's about chaos. She raised an eyebrow. That looks like spilled paint. He chuckled softly. Sometimes chaos looks simple. She glanced at him. You sound like someone who's experienced a lot of it. His smile faded slightly. Business can be chaotic. You mean being a mysterious company boss? He looked amused again. You're still curious about that? Very. He studied her for a moment. You're different from most people I meet. How? Most people ask about money or success. And I don't. You ask about meaning. Jahzara shrugged lightly. Well, money is boring. That made him laugh quietly. Most people would disagree. They continued walking. But something about the conversation had changed. It was deeper now. More personal. More real. Eventually they reached the balcony outside the gallery. The city lights stretched across the skyline. The cool night air brushed softly against them. For a moment neither spoke. Then Min-Jae turned toward her. You know something strange. Jahzara looked up. What? I've had hundreds of business meetings this year. His voice was calm but thoughtful. And yet, this evening has been the most relaxing. Her heart skipped slightly. That's surprising. He studied her eyes. I feel comfortable around you. The honesty in his voice made her chest tighten. Because the lie suddenly felt heavier than ever. She forced a small smile. I'm glad. For a moment their eyes held again. The silence between them felt charged. Like something important was slowly growing. But inside Jahzara's mind, one thought kept echoing. He doesn't know who I really am. And the more time they spent together, the harder that truth became to ignore. The city lights stretched across the skyline like scattered stars. From the balcony of the art gallery, the night felt calm, almost peaceful. But inside Jahzara's chest, nothing felt calm. Her heart was beating faster than it should. Standing beside her, Min-Jae rested his hands lightly on the balcony railing, gazing out at the glowing city. For a moment neither of them spoke. The silence wasn't awkward. It was comfortable. The kind of silence that happens when two people feel unexpectedly at ease with each other. Finally, Jahzara broke it. So, mysterious CEO. He glanced at her with a faint smile. You're still calling me that? Well, you're still being mysterious. He chuckled quietly. That's fair. She leaned against the railing beside him. So tell me something real. Like what? Something most people don't know about you. Min-Jae was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke softly. I hate most business parties. Jahzara blinked. That's it. He shrugged slightly. People assume I enjoy them. But they are exhausting. How? Everyone is always trying to impress someone. She laughed lightly. Sounds accurate. He looked at her. But tonight didn't feel like that. Why? His answer came without hesitation. Because you're not trying to impress me. Jahzara smiled. That's because I'm not. Their eyes met again. And for a brief second, the air between them felt charged. Like something deeper was quietly forming. Something neither of them expected. Jahzara quickly looked away first. Because the lie suddenly pressed heavily against her chest again. He thinks I'm someone else. Her stomach twisted slightly. But Min-Jae seemed completely unaware of the storm happening in her mind. Instead, he turned toward the city again. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why did you agree to this date? The question surprised her. What do you mean? You could have said no. She shrugged. I was curious. About what? You. His expression softened slightly. And now? She thought for a moment. I'm still curious. That answer made him smile again. A slow, genuine smile. They stayed on the balcony for a while longer, talking about random things. Travel. Favorite places in the world. Childhood memories. At one point Min-Jae told a story about getting lost in Tokyo during a business trip. Jahzara laughed so hard she had to wipe tears from her eyes. I cannot believe the CEO of a billion-dollar company got lost in a subway.
Being here with you feels
It was
like a
confusing.
Dream. It's perfect, isn't it?
You had a phone.
With you it is.
I feel
the signal
way.
disappeared underground.
Being here with you feels
She
like
shook
a
her
dream.
head,
It's
still
perfect,
laughing.
Isn't it?
With
You're
you it is.
unbelievable.
I feel the same way.
But as the laughter faded, something changed again. Min-Jae studied her quietly. You laugh easily. That's a compliment. Yes. Why? He paused. Because genuine happiness is rare. The seriousness in his voice caught her off guard. You sound like someone who doesn't see it often. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he simply looked out at the skyline again. And Jahzara realized something. Despite his success, despite the wealth and power she had read about online, there was a quiet loneliness around him. She gently nudged his arm. Well, at least you're laughing tonight. He looked back at her. Yes. Then he added quietly. Because of you. Her heart skipped. For a moment, neither of them spoke again. The city lights shimmered below them. Soft music drifted from inside the gallery. And suddenly, the distance between them felt much smaller. Min-Jae took a step closer. Not aggressively. Not rushed. Just closer. Jahzara felt the shift immediately. Her breath caught slightly. His voice was softer now. You're very easy to talk to. She smiled nervously. That's a good thing, right? Yes. Their eyes met again. This time longer. More intense. For a brief moment, it felt like he might lean in closer. Like something important might happen. But suddenly, Jahzara's phone buzzed loudly. The sound broke the moment instantly. She glanced down. It was Aliyah. Again. Jahzara quickly silenced it. Sorry. Min-Jae shook his head. No problem. But the interruption had shifted the mood slightly. They walked back inside the gallery. The event was beginning to wind down. Guests were leaving. The curator thanked them politely for attending. Soon they were walking outside together again. The cool night air brushed against them. The same sleek black car waited at the curb. The driver stepped forward respectfully. Sir. Min-Jae nodded before turning back to Jahzara. I had a wonderful evening. Me too. He studied her carefully, then asked something that made her heart jump. May I see you again? Jahzara froze slightly, because every time he asked that question, the lie grew deeper and harder to escape. But despite the guilt, she realized something else. She wanted to see him again. She really did. Her voice came out soft. I'd like that. His smile returned. Then he opened the car door for her. Let me take you home. As the car drove through the glowing streets of the city, Jahzara stared out the window quietly. Her reflection in the glass looked thoughtful. Conflicted. Because tonight had changed something. This wasn't just a harmless lie anymore. This wasn't just a funny story between friends. Somewhere between the laughter, the conversations, and the quiet moments on that balcony, something real had started growing. And the longer it continued, the more painful the truth would become. Because sooner or later, Min-Jae was going to discover who she really was. And when that happened, everything between them could fall apart. 2 weeks passed. 2 weeks of dinners, conversations, late-night phone calls. and moments that
something
Jahzara
to
never
tell you.
expected to share with someone like
How is that
Min-Jae.
possible?
What
It's
started
true.
as a harmless
can't
lie
believe
had
it.
slowly turned into something real. Too real. They had visited small cafes hidden in quiet streets, walked through bookstores laughing over terrible romance novels, shared stories about childhood dreams and future plans. And every time they met, the connection between them grew stronger. But so did the weight of the secret Jahzara was carrying. Every time he called her Aliyah, her chest tightened. Every time he smiled at her like she was the most interesting person in the room, the guilt grew heavier. And tonight, everything was about to change. The rooftop dinner. The private rooftop restaurant overlooked the entire city. Soft golden lights surrounded the small dinner table. Candles flickered gently in the evening breeze. Below them, thousands of city lights sparkled like diamonds. Jahzara stepped onto the rooftop slowly. Her heart began racing the moment she saw him. Min-Jae stood near the table wearing a dark tailored suit, the city skyline glowing behind him. When he saw her, his expression softened instantly. "You made it." She smiled. "Of course." He pulled out a chair for her. Dinner was elegant, quiet, but something about the night felt different. Min-Jae seemed thoughtful, more serious than usual. Halfway through dinner, he leaned forward slightly. "I've been meaning to ask you something." Jahzara felt her stomach tighten. "What is it?" He looked directly into her eyes. "Do you believe some meetings happen for a reason?" The question caught her off guard. "I guess, sometimes." He nodded slowly. "When I agreed to that blind date, I almost cancelled." Her heart skipped. "Really?" "Yes." "Why?" "I didn't want another meaningless dinner conversation." He paused. "But then you walked into that restaurant." His voice softened. "And everything changed." Jahzara felt her throat tighten, because she knew the truth behind that moment. He continued quietly. "I've met many people in my life. Business leaders. Politicians. Celebrities. But none of them made me feel the way you do." Her chest felt heavy now, because every word he spoke made the truth harder to hide. He leaned back slightly. "You're honest. You're genuine. And you never treat me like a billionaire." Jahzara looked down at the table. Her fingers tightened around her glass. Because the irony was unbearable. If only he knew. Min-Jae stood and walked toward the railing overlooking the city. "Come here," he said gently. She followed. The view was breathtaking. Lights stretching endlessly across the skyline. The wind brushing softly through the night air. He stood beside her quietly for a moment, then spoke again. "I'm glad I met you, Aliyah." The name hit her chest like a weight. Before she could respond, the elevator doors behind them opened. Jahzara turned around and froze. Standing there was Aliyah. Her real Aliyah. Jahzara's heart dropped instantly. "Aliyah, what are you doing here?" Aliyah walked forward nervously. "I had to come." Min-Jae turned, confused. His eyes moved between the two women. Jahzara felt panic rising in her chest. This was the moment she had feared. The moment she had tried to delay. Aliyah stopped a few feet away. She looked directly at Min-Jae. "Mr. Kim, I think there's something you should know." Jahzara whispered urgently. "Aliyah, don't." But it was already too late. Aliyah took a deep breath. "I'm the person you were actually supposed to meet that night." Silence fell across the rooftop. Complete silence. Min-Jae frowned slightly. "I don't understand." Aliyah pointed gently toward Jahzara. "She went to the date instead of me." The words hung in the air. Heavy. Unavoidable. Min-Jae slowly turned toward Jahzara. His expression changed. Confusion. Then realization. Then something deeper. "You." His voice was quieter now. "You're not Aliyah." Jahzara felt tears rising in her eyes. "No." "Then who are you?" "My name is Jahzara." The wind brushed across the rooftop again, but the warmth of the evening had disappeared. Min-Jae stepped back slightly. "You lied to me." The words were calm, but the hurt behind them was obvious. Jahzara shook her head quickly. "I didn't mean for it to happen like this." "Then how did it happen?" She swallowed hard. "Aliyah didn't want to go on the date. So she sent you instead." "Yes." His eyes searched her face. "And you decided to keep lying." Her voice cracked. "At first it was just supposed to be 20 minutes. But then we started talking. And I didn't know how to tell you the truth. Min-Jae looked away toward the city lights. His expression unreadable. Aliyah spoke quietly. I'm sorry, Mr. Kim. This is my fault. But Min-Jae barely heard her. His attention returned to Jahzara. Every conversation we had. His voice was controlled but heavy. Every moment. You let me believe something that wasn't true. Tears rolled down Jahzara's cheeks now. But my feelings were real. He didn't answer immediately. Instead he stepped back from the railing. I need some time. Then he turned and walked toward the elevator. Jahzara's voice trembled. Min-Jae. But he didn't stop. The elevator doors closed. And he was gone. The rooftop felt empty. Silent. Jahzara wiped tears from her face. Aliyah stepped closer. I'm so sorry. Jahzara stared at the closed elevator doors. Her voice barely above a whisper. I think I just lost him. Because the truth had finally come out. And sometimes, the truth doesn't fix things. Sometimes, it breaks them. 3 days passed. 3 long, quiet days. Jahzara barely left her apartment. The city outside continued moving as usual. People rushing to work, cars filling the streets, lights glowing through apartment windows at night. But inside her small living room, everything felt still. Her phone rested on the coffee table. Silent. No messages. No calls. No sign of Min-Jae. Every time it buzzed with a notification from someone else, her heart jumped, only to fall again seconds later. Aliyah sat beside her on the couch, watching her with concern. You should eat something. I'm not hungry. You said that yesterday. Jahzara sighed and leaned back against the couch. I messed everything up. Aliyah shook her head. No. I messed it up. I'm the one who sent you there. Jahzara stared at the ceiling. But I'm the one who kept lying. The guilt sat heavy in her chest. She replayed that rooftop moment over and over in her mind. The confusion in Min-Jae's eyes. The hurt in his voice. You lied to me. Those words echoed again. Aliyah gently nudged her arm. Do you love him? Jahzara didn't answer right away. Because the truth scared her. But after a moment, she whispered softly. I think I might. The words hung in the air. Aliyah sighed. Then maybe he just needs time. But Jahzara wasn't sure. Because some mistakes can't be undone. Some broken trust never heals. And Min-Jae wasn't just anyone. He was a man who lived in a world built on control, strategy, and careful decisions. People like him didn't tolerate deception. That night, Jahzara finally decided to stop waiting. She grabbed her coat. I'm going for a walk. Aliyah looked relieved. Good. Fresh air will help. Jahzara stepped outside into the cool evening air. The city was alive with energy. Neon lights reflected on the wet streets. Music drifted from nearby cafes. But she barely noticed any of it. Her mind was somewhere else. With him. With the man she had met by accident. The man she was never supposed to meet. She turned onto a quiet street near her apartment. And that's when she saw him. Standing near the entrance of her building. Her footsteps stopped instantly. For a moment, she thought she might be imagining things. But no. It was really him. Min-Jae stood there in a dark coat, hands in his pockets, looking calm but thoughtful. Jahzara's heart began racing. You're here. He looked up slowly. Yes. The silence between them felt heavy. But not angry. Just serious. Jahzara walked closer. I didn't think you'd want to see me again. Min-Jae studied her face for a moment. I wasn't sure if I should. Her chest tightened. That's fair. They stood there quietly for a few seconds. Then he spoke. When I left the rooftop that night, I was angry. I know. And confused. Jahzara nodded slowly. You had every right to be. He looked away briefly, thinking. In my world, trust is everything. Business deals, partnerships, even friendships. If someone lies to you, it usually means they are trying to take advantage of you. Jahzara lowered her eyes. I understand. But this situation was different. She looked up slightly. How? He stepped closer. Because when I thought about it, something didn't make sense. What? You never asked me for anything. She blinked. What do you mean? You didn't care about my money. You didn't try to impress me. You didn't even treat me like a CEO.
His voice softened.
You treated me like a normal person.
Jahzara felt tears forming again.
Because that's what you are.
Min-Jae looked at her carefully.
You may not have been the woman I was supposed to meet that night.
Her breath caught slightly.
But you were the one I actually connected with.
He stepped even closer now.
I spent the last 3 days asking myself a question. What question? Was everything between us a lie?
Jahzara shook her head quickly. No.
My name was the only lie. Everything else was real.
He watched her eyes carefully, searching for doubt.
Searching for truth.
Finally he nodded slowly.
I believe you.
Her heart jumped. You do?
Yes.
Then he added quietly, and I realized something else. What? If I walk away from you now?
I might regret it for the rest of my life. Tears slipped down Jahzara's cheeks. Min-Jae.
He gently took her hand. His voice was calm but sincere.
So I decided something.
What?
I don't care what name you used that night.
Her breath caught.
What matters is the woman I actually got to know. The wind moved softly through the street.
City lights glowing around them.
Jahzara smiled through her tears. So, what happens now?
Min-Jae smiled slightly.
Now we start over. From the beginning. Yes.
He extended his hand playfully. Hello.
My name is Kim Min-Jae.
Jahzara laughed softly. She took his hand.
Nice to meet you. My name is Jahzara.
Their fingers remained intertwined.
And for the first time since that chaotic night,
there were no secrets left between them. Just honesty. Just possibility.
And the quiet realization that sometimes, the most unexpected meetings become the most meaningful ones.